Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. It's going to be a budget with me, but I had a really good friend reach out and ask if I could help her come up with a budget for her family, and I asked for permission to share some of this. Of course, most of it's going to be anonymous, but these are very real numbers. These are my very real recommendations, and I hope this helps for anybody who's struggling to make a budget of their own and also make a budget while you're in the red with your monthly balances. Stick around and check it out. All right, so I'm going to start off just like I would with my own budget, and I write down, let me get these out of the way for a minute. So I already went through and wrote down all of their expenses. So their monthly bills, the sinking funds, and the cash envelopes. So she and I had a really long FaceTime call, and we talked about what her hopes are for her family, what her priorities are, what she wants to save money for, what isn't necessarily a priority for her. So you're going to see some things that are different, and may be different from your budget and are absolutely different from my budget. So it was really fun to work with numbers that I don't normally work with, and to work with things that I hadn't experienced before. So let's start filling this out. Now, they are a one income family, just like mine. So the monthly salary take home for them is $46.27. So I'm going to do this just as a monthly budget. And her husband gets paid weekly. So my recommendation was to take a quarter of all of these numbers out of every paycheck and set it aside, just as I do with my husband who gets paid semi-monthly. We take 50% out and do it that way. So I hope that makes sense for you. Their mortgage payment is $10.52. Their car payment is $387. Their phone bill is $233. Cable and internet, $81. Gas, $55. Electric, $50. Water, $100. Car insurance, $115. Netflix, $15.99. Amazon Music, $10.99. HBO subscription is $10.99. Hulu is $5.99. Peloton subscription is $39. One of their credit cards is $75, and the other one is $150. Now, let's add all that up. So 1052, 387, 233, 81, 55, 50, 100. Okay, so 2380.96, 2380.96. So that is their monthly total for their bills. Which is going to leave them with $2246.04. All right. So now, after she and I sat down and we talked about how much she would ideally like to have in these categories. Now, they are a family of four. It's her husband, and their two children. Their grocery budget, she would like to have $600. Now, they do have a unique situation. Her parents live with them in a suite in the basement. So a lot of the times she likes to provide meals for them as well, which is why their grocery budget is so high. $3.20 for gas. Her husband has a pretty long commute to and from, and this is about how much it costs him per month in gas. Spending for her is 70 and for him is 50. And this is pretty typical. I know you're going to think that it's unfair, but it's pretty typical that there's a partner who isn't as much of a spender. And this was after a conversation with her husband as well and what they felt comfortable with. So there's absolutely no judgment. This is what works for their family. Dining out. They do enjoy dining out with their kids. It's kind of, especially in the pandemic, going and grabbing some fast food, going to the park. That's something that they enjoy doing together. So that's why their budget is what it is. Toiletries. Medical. Entertainment. And their oldest son, she wants to start giving him a monthly allowance. So let's add those together. $1,285 for the envelope total. Okay, so remember we had $22,46.04 left. We're taking $1,285 out. It's going to leave them with $961.04. All right, so they currently do not have any sinking funds set up, so these balances are going to look a little higher just because she has a goal amount that she wanted to have by Christmas. So that means they're putting in more. The amount will go down next year. So for Christmas, to get her to her goal, she would have to start putting in $167 a month. Birthdays get $60 a month. Now, this particular friend loves throwing birthday parties. That's her thing. She's amazingly creative and wonderful at it. So birthdays are a big priority in their family. So she wanted to have a little extra to make sure that she has enough room in her budget to throw those parties that she loves to do for her kids. So that's why her budget is a little bit higher. She wants to start savings for her children as well. So each child is getting $20. This particular friend is also trying to have another baby, and she wants to start saving for that baby as well. Clothing is $15. This isn't a priority in her family. She is able to do lots of hand-me-downs. She shops secondhand a lot, and that's just not a priority. So where many families, including mine, will have a little bit more money put away in their clothing fund, that just happens to be their priority. In her family, it's not, and she is thankful to be able to have those hand-me-downs so she doesn't have to spend as much. Vacation. So this is a huge one. $200. Now, she wants to be able to take a vacation that costs $3,600 by the middle of next year. So that gives us 18 months to save up for $3,600. So if you work that out, not percent, Renee, get it together. Divided by 18, $200 a month. Now that's a huge amount, but it's a priority for her, so in it goes. Miscellaneous holidays. She loves holidays, loves getting little things and decorating for her kids and for her family, so she's putting away $25 a month for that. Car maintenance, $40. Amazon Prime, $10. So let's add together her sinking funds. $577. Okay. So she had $961.04 minus $577. That leaves us with $384.04. Let's pull that down, $384.04. All right, now here's the big one. My darling friend is going through some very costly IVF payments, which required a few personal loans to be taken out. Those personal loans have a combined monthly payment of $792. Okay, so which leaves us in the negative $407.96. I can't tell you how many times I've done a budget for somebody. We've gotten to this point, they're in the red, and they just say, you know what, Renee, forget it. Forget it. I'm done. Obviously, this isn't going to work for me. I told you I can't do a budget. And my response is, then how have you been surviving, right? You've been living, you've been paying your bills. You can do this. You got this. It may take a little time. It may mean making some sacrifices, but you can do this. And watch what my recommendations are. So, once we got to this point, here is my recommended plan of action. Number 1, this particular friend has $10,000 in savings in the bank. She also had $2,100 currently in her checking account. So my number 1 step for her was to use the money in her current savings to fully pay off both of her credit cards. This would put $225 back into her monthly budget money, bringing them to negative $182.96. So the balances on her cards were not that much, and they were just making large monthly payments, which is great. So I just recommended that she take some of the money out of her savings and pay off those credit cards, which is going to give back that $150 and that $75. Okay, so there's $225. Now remember, right now they're in the red, $407.96. So if they get that $225 back, they're already at $182.96 negative. Workable. My next recommendation, temporarily canceled Amazon Music, HBO, and Hulu subscriptions. It may not seem like much, but it is going to add $27.97 back to their monthly money, bringing them now to negative $154.99. Keep up. Are you ready? My next recommendation is call the cable and internet provider and the car insurance company to inquire about lower rates. Google any promotional packages and ask that they honor their online prices. The savings potential here is unknown. Now, I do this, and I'm walking the talk here, you guys. I do this every 6 months. It never fails. Every 6 months, I call my car insurance company and ask if I qualify for any lower rates or deductibles. I also call my internet company and I ask them to honor any lower prices that I see on the internet. It's as simple as, so we go through Comcast, it's as simple as Googling Comcast internet packages. And if something comes up on their website and it's cheaper than what you're getting, call them immediately and they will honor that price for you. I do it every 6 months and you end up saving so much money. My next recommendation, cut back on dining out and groceries. Take $55 from their dining out and $100 from their groceries to bring that $155 back to their monthly money, meaning that they are now back to black. So this is just temporary. Now remember I said that this family loves to get fast food together, so they go to the park. That's kind of an event that they do together. In particular, I know that her husband likes to take the boys for, Egg McMuffins in the morning. My recommendation was to buy a big box of frozen ones at Costco or make their own, keep them in the freezer, grab them, heat them up, and still go to the park. It's way cheaper, and they still get to do what they enjoy. This is just temporary until the debt is paid off. So that will bring them back to black, and they now can start to pay down that IVF payment debt. My final suggestion for them, use the money that they have in their checking. Now remember I said they had $2,200 in their checking account. To use that money to pay this month's bills so that they can start to save 1/4 of these amounts from every check and put it into that bills transfer fund. So that way they will be a month ahead in their bills for next month. I hope that makes sense. So these were my recommended plan of action for this family. They happen to be in a really good place to be able to have that savings and be able to work with that. And now I know you're saying, Renee, I don't have $10,000 in savings, but my budget looks very similar. How can I get out of red? I'm going to show you how. My recommended plan of action without $10,000 in your savings account would look like this. Cancel all of those subscriptions and add that $27.97 back to your monthly money, bringing you to negative $379.99. Same thing, calling that cable and internet provider and calling that insurance company to see if you qualify for any lower packages. Cut back on your dining out and groceries. Dining out is gone, completely gone here until your credit cards are paid off. That will add $125 into your monthly money and also bring your grocery budget to $500 a month to add another $100. You are now at negative $154.99 for the month. Cut back on your spending envelopes, allowing both of you to have $50. This will add another $20 into your money, and you're now at negative $134.99. My last recommended plan of action without savings, number 5, pull back on your vacation money until your credit cards are paid off. Vacations are important. I understand that, but when you're paying off debt, small sacrifices are more important. You still have $65 a month going into your vacation fund, so maybe something local and more cost effective would be better until you're debt free. So that brings you back to black without that $10,000 in savings. So that's it. I hoped that seeing some new numbers, a new scenario, a budget that's in the red and can be worked back into the black is something that helped you and it maybe inspires you if that's what you're working with. I just wanted to bring something to you like this to show you that no matter what kind of position you're in, you can budget, and a budget can absolutely help better your position in life financially. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. You guys know that I love interacting with you. I love learning new things from you guys. If you have any tips for my friend, I'm sure she would love to read those. But I mean, if this were your budget, what would you do? Would you do anything differently? Do you have any other words of wisdom or advice? Please let us know in the comments. And I hope this helps you. I hope this inspires you to make changes in your own budget or to even give it a try, even if you're feeling defeated by how the numbers kind of crunch for you when you're doing your own. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.